So then, more from Premium DNA. Now I've just had these delivered today. If you've seen the last review that I've just done, it was for Psychro. This time we're going to have a look at Earthworm Jim. So I got these on AliExpress, and people were wondering whether these were genuine or whether they were bootlegs. Now I'm going to explain in this video, just like I did in the Psychro video, that I believe that these are genuine. I don't think that these are bootlegs. Now again, if we have a look at the box, the artwork on the box is very nice, high quality. We're not getting the grainy renders that you normally get on a bootleg. If you've ever picked up a bootleg figure, you know straight away by the box if it's not genuine. But the artwork on these is very high quality. The boxes are high quality. We get the Premium DNA stamp there. And the renders on the box for the figure are really nice. Really nice colours on the box. There's nothing about these boxes that would suggest to me that these aren't genuine. And just before we look at the figure, we also get these inserts inside the box. So these are the backdrops inside the box. You normally wouldn't get these with a bootleg. That's again just another expense that bootleg companies don't want to put money into. So we wouldn't normally get something like this inside the box. And there's Jim. Now with bootlegs, something else that we need to take note of is that these figures aren't even released yet. So anybody who's got pre-orders open on any website for these, they haven't shipped, they haven't been released. These have just appeared on AliExpress. Now normally what will happen with a bootleg is the molds somehow will either be sold on when the company's finished with the molds, or somehow they'll get their hands on the molds and they'll produce bootleg figures, knockoff figures. But again, what we need to remember is that the company, Premium DNA, they aren't finished with these molds. So it's not like they've sold the molds on to somebody and somebody is making knockoffs of these yet. These appearing on AliExpress. There has been a few theories which I did touch upon in the Psychro video, and one being that when these were released, Premium DNA weren't happy with the overall quality, whether it be the paint on them or just the overall finish. So they returned them to the factory, and this is the factory putting them on AliExpress just to recuperate some losses. The second theory is that Premium DNA weren't in a position to or didn't pay the factory that produced these for them. So the factory, trying to recuperate their losses again, put these on AliExpress just as a way of making their money. But I don't have any concrete evidence to support any of that. That's just something that I've read on the internet. That's public information that's out there. But these definitely do not feel like knockoffs. Now again, with the plastic that they've used with these, it's not cheap. It feels like quality materials. Switching out these heads, switching out some of the accessories like the arms, you know, the heads, things like that. It's a very tight fit. You've got to really force them in there, which mostly on knockoffs or bootlegs, they just fall apart. You know, you only have to look at a bootleg a lot of the time and it will just fall apart, whereas these, the joints are nice and tight, they feel solid, the figures themselves have some nice weight to them. Here's all the accessories that comes with Jim. So we get some additional heads, additional hands, we get his blaster, and we also get this guy. So this is a nice little figure of Snot. And even with these, with the accessories, like just this little figure here, the paint is nice, no issues, no paint bleed. Now you can see on this one that there is a few little marks. You can see on one of his eyeballs, there's a bit of black paint on there. But nothing that would suggest that these are poor quality bootlegs. A slight bit of paint there. That's just a bit of blue paint. And a bit of a paint chip you can see on his wrist. But if these are what Premium DNA returned to the factory because they weren't happy with the quality, then I don't know. I really don't know what's happened with these, but I'm over the moon with these. I paid about £15 each for these, whereas the pre-orders that I've got open on a UK website, I'm paying about £59, which I'm still waiting for those pre-orders to come in. I might just keep the orders open just to compare them when they do come in. But I don't think the quality is going to be all that much different to these. I can't complain about, you know, minor paint like this on the collar. I know that we all like our figures to be pristine and clean when they come in, especially if I was paying £60. But I've only paid £15 for this guy on AliExpress. Now to take out the backpack, this lid will come off and then you'll be able to replace that with the one where Snot sits inside the bag. Now I'm going to mess about with that backpack off camera at some point. I have tried to prise that off, but it's not moving. There's got to be a way to get that off, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, this is what you would replace that with. So if you can imagine taking this off, and then he would just sit in there. You also get this one. So if you can just suspend your disbelief almost and imagine that I've placed him in there. That's where he would sit. Now this wrist peg with his gun blaster, now that's quite loose in there. Now I don't know if that will just be with the one I've picked up, but you put that in and the weight of the gun You can see it's a little bit loose, and it's very, very easy to pull that hand out there. It's not the same with the other ones. So if I replace that hand with another hand that we have, this one and the other ones that we have isn't quite as loose, but it just seems that the weight of the blaster, the weight of the gun, it weighs that peg down a bit. That feels a lot more secure in there compared to what this one does. I mean, there's no issues with the peg. I just feel that there's not much grip on the end of there when you put that into the wrist. You can see. But other than that, other than the issue with that peg and the minor paint rub here and a little bit of paint on there, nothing else wrong, no issues, no other issues to note. His legs are nice and tight, they support his weight, nice and balanced. There's a bit of articulation. I was a bit worried about these legs. I didn't know how they were going to execute this figure with these little legs, but they feel very sturdy. The joints are nice. They don't feel like they're going to break. They don't feel like they're going to give out underneath his weight. He does have this diaphragm cut here, but he does not articulate because this is fully sculpted. That's not rubber. It's not a soft plastic. It's hard, nice and sculpted, but this, you're not getting movement out of that. He does have waist swivel. And his holster obviously doesn't take the gun. But he's an animated character, what can we expect? Single jointed elbows, although double jointed elbows, I do apologise. Double jointed elbows, but we're not getting much motion because he's got those huge biceps. But we do get bicep swivel. We do also get range of motion at the shoulder. And his head is fully articulated. And if we fetch in Psychro, you can see what they look like stood side by side. These really are amazing figures. Really nice to hold, really nice to pose, nice to play with. If you're an Earthworm Jim fan, these are an absolute must-have. Definitely pick these up if you're a fan of Earthworm Jim. So then, overall, my final thoughts for this one. Over the moon that I picked this one up. Very happy to have Psychro. How these ended up on AliExpress, I don't know. But I could not be happier that I've picked these up. Again, I paid about £15 each for these two, whereas the pre-orders that I've got open on a UK website, I'm paying about £60 each. So you cannot be robbed picking these up for £15 each on AliExpress. I am confident that these are not bootlegs. The quality is so high with these for these to be bootlegs. Again, I don't know how they ended up on AliExpress, but for whatever reason, they're on there, and I would definitely recommend picking these up while they're on there for such a cheap price. So that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching. I do appreciate all of the likes, all of the comments, everybody that's subscribed. It really, really means a lot. Thanks again.